Hi guys, SkyPoint here. In this video, I wanted to share with you all my new favorite deck, the Cypher Desperate Defense deck. In all honesty, I actually think this deck is overpowered, but I want you all to be able to play it so that the devs will hopefully then balance it as a result, or at least you guys can get to experience it before it gets balanced. Now this deck actually doesn't critically require any legendary cards. They're all optional. They just make the deck even more powerful. Now you can see straight away from the energy curve that this deck looks weird as hell. And so the whole point of this deck is just to get Desperate Defense into play as quickly as possible and then overpower your enemy with those early game powerful units. So to that end, the core of the deck consists of 6 cards, 2 War Rooms, 2 Asteroid Belts, and 2 Desperate Defenses. Apart from that, the only other things you need in here are 24 of your strongest troops, basically. Just throw your troops in with the only criteria being how expensive they are at the top. Like the more expensive, the better. Now, if you have it, you can boost this deck a little bit more with Irresistible Charisma. It's purely optional. It just allows you to handle more situations. But the core concept of the deck, especially lower down on the ladder, will work without Irresistible Charisma. So how do you play this? It's basically so that in your 8 energy turn, which is hopefully your opponent's 6 energy turn, you get Desperate Defense in play. So when the match starts, you ideally want to have at least 1 Asteroid Belt in your hand, or if you have it, your Irresistible Charisma. I'll explain that in a moment. So in your first turn, you just use Cypher's ability, which will draw a tactic from your deck. And since you only have 6 or 7 tactics in your deck, you can pretty much choose which one you want. You want to be able to make sure in your next turn you can play Asteroid Belt. So if you started with 1 Asteroid Belt in hand, you can pick almost anything else. But a second Asteroid Belt is always useful. So in your second turn, your 3 energy turn, you will play Asteroid Belt. That means in your third turn, where you now have 5 energy, you can use Cypher's ability again and either pull out another Asteroid Belt if you don't have 2 of them, or if you do have Irresistible Charisma still hanging out in your deck, pull it out if you can in your second turn. And then after that, in your following turn, which is now your 6 energy turn, you pull another, you play your Asteroid Belts, or you pull another one and play it. And then lastly, as you now approach your 7 energy turn, you want to play War Room, and that'll hopefully pull out Desperate Defense. If it doesn't pull out Desperate Defense, it pulls out and makes another cheaper War Room, which you can play again. And so, by the time you reach your 8 energy turn, and the enemy is on 6 energy, you should be able to throw out Desperate Defense, which will create a pair of powerful units on the board. Your next turn will be your 9 energy turn, and in that you can play almost any card you have. And then lastly, when you hit your 10 energy turn, if you have your second Desperate Defense in hand, you can play it then. Otherwise, play any of your 8 cost troops and then use Cypher's ability again to pull out your second Desperate Defense. Alright, so that's the deck. Now what I want to do is just show you how this deck absolutely crushes Knights. So I'll show you a couple of matches versus Knights and then go into a few matches against other Warlords. Alright, so with that, let's go into the first battle. These battles are all against the most common knight on the ladder, Cerastus Orlac. So the Cerastus armor starts with plenty of plasma, and the House Orlac pilot creates plasma. So that's a popular combination. So over here, I'm deciding that of the 3 cards, I definitely want to pull out Somber Truth with Desperate Defense. So I'm going to bury it back. The other 2 are okay if I don't grab them with Desperate Defense. In fact, Lucas Crom you ideally want to play when it looks like you'll have no troops at the beginning of your turn, so he's a bad guy to pull out with Desperate Defense. So, unfortunately, I straight up drew one of my Desperate Defense cards, but okay, that'll still work out. I use my ability, and what I'm pulling out is War Room, because I already had an Asteroid Belt. Okay, comes to his turn, he's just creating plasma. Comes back to my turn, and And so I'm going to play my first asteroid belt. That means in my next turn I will have 5 energy to play with. Alright, here we go. So he plays a troop. He's gonna be, it looks like he's planning on having loads of plasma. I don't mind that. Let's see here. Next we're going to activate my ability, and now, as I said, I am pulling out Irresistible Charisma. That's so that when I play War Room, it does not draw Irresistible Charisma itself. And perfect, I already have an 8-cost Desperate Defense ready to go. He plays House Maccabeus, so he's going to take advantage of the fact I've got no troops to do a huge load of damage to me. Comes to my 6 energy turn, and sort of actually have everything I need, so I'm just going to play Asteroid Belt right now, pull Asteroid Belt out and play it. That means next turn, so after as his 5 energy turn finishes and he goes into his 6 energy turn, he'll face the first of my Desperate Defenses. So he's playing a mechanic to create a weapon. There's his battle cannon. Boom. And he hits me with that battle cannon. So he's feeling really comfortable at this point. He's got a weapon, he's got troops, he's got board control. But now everything starts to change. Desperate Defense pulls out 2 random troops, and they are great troops. And I take out one of his guys so that it just makes it that little bit harder for him to start killing my units. Plays his rocket pod to try and soften me up. Creates another weapon, so he's, I think, getting ready to try and use flamers to clear this all off. So he's going for my big artillery gun. Yeah, Basilisk fires, and is it a Basilisk? I think it's a Basilisk. No, it's an Earthshaker cannon. Fire took out his troop, and my vehicle attacked him and destroyed his weapon. 9 energy, so I put an abominable machinery in play. Intelligence, that's the one. He now brings out a second battle cannon and blasts the Earthshaker, and I think he's now going to play a flamer. There we go. And he'll get 2 shots off with the flamer. That's shot number 1. And he's coming up with shot number 2, and he realizes that it's all going to be over anyway. And he quit. Nice. Alright, we're now into Cerastus Orlac number 2. So, this is a pretty okay starting hand, I guess. I'll try to pull out my Asteroid Belt in my first turn from my deck. I am going second, but that's fine. He does the normal move over here, creates plasma. Okay, perfect. I can create an Asteroid Belt, so let's pull it out. Deciding what he's doing. Created more plasma again. So let's play that Asteroid Belt. And again, now next turn, I'll get 5 energy. Comes back to his turn. He's creating a weapon discounting factory. So that can be bad news. Let's go ahead. Now I'm going to pull out War Room again. I should have probably pulled Irresistible Charisma instead. That was a bit of a risk here. But I did get an Asteroid Belt, so that's cool. So actually now, in my 6 energy turn, I'll be able to use my ability, use the Asteroid Belt, and still play War Room, which is great. He's just throwing up more and more plasma. He's getting ready to burn me down. There's the Asteroid Belt. Next, let's use my ability. I'm going to pull out Irresistible Charisma, so now the only thing War Room can act on is a Desperate Defense. Okay, and now we're set for the rest of the match. We have most of what we need here. Play some frontline troops, okay. Alright, oh, I lost Serial Storm to Hand Size. Hand Size is the bane of this deck, because you're not playing cards for the first couple of turns. Well, not playing troops onto the board. But this is a very strong Desperate Defense over there. But he has a good response. He plays Combined Arms. Doesn't seem to have a great weapon available, though. Just plays the Last Cutter for now. And he burns me down a little. Alright, what are we going to do here? 9 energy, so let's start taking out some of his stuff here. Clear the shaft. And I play Lambda Zeta over here just in case he... Because now basically, if I hit either of the things any of the things he has on the board, especially his Warlord, if I hit him in the center, I'll be able to do a ton of damage. His Mortar takes out my most powerful unit. And he's just continuing to try to soften me up. Ion Flare Shield to protect himself. Hits my vehicle. And there's the Flame Cannon. Okay, so a little bit of burning action going on there. Can you get the second shot off? Now the nice thing about that Land Raider is it creates troops as it dies. So I don't think he quite realized that. There we go. Keeps burning away. He's got all the plasma he can use on that, but now he's out of... Okay, no, there. He's got 2 energy left. Plays House Divine, trying to protect his Warlord. But unfortunately for him, that thing has Cleave 5. So it does a load of damage to him. I crack open his weapons. I drop a Lernian Hydra, and then I use my ability to pull out my second Desperate Defense. Boom. Things are looking a bit rough for this knight. He plays in a very expensive Mortar Strike, which hits me, and I think he's realizing it's all over at this point. Bye-bye. Alright, and the last knight fight we're facing is another Cerastus Orlac. So again, not a bad set of cards to start with, have a war room already. So, Matt starts, use my ability, and pull out an Asteroid Belt. There we go. I had a 50% chance of being able to pull at least one Asteroid Belt from that. Just decent enough. Actually, more than 50%. Yeah. I need to go through a probability, but it's pretty high. Alright, so, played my Asteroid Belt, which I pulled. And let's take a look here. We are getting... Okay, so use my ability, and now I pull out another Asteroid Belt, and I play that right now. Hey, so 6 energy, my next turn is 7 energy, and I'm well positioned to start pulling out Desperate Defenses. Alright, so here we go. So use my ability to remove Irresistible Charisma. That means the only tactics left in my deck are 2 Desperate Defenses. So War Room will definitely pull that out. And now we are ready to go. He plays a Munitions Depot, and he's trying to protect it with his Warlord. He doesn't know that I don't care about the Munitions Depot. I'm gonna play, we're gonna attack his face, and then I'm gonna throw out my Desperate Defense, and the madness begins. There's Doombringer number 1 and Coriel Zeth.
At last, we are assembled.
There's a big hit. So he pulls out a battle cannon, and he'll probably grab a flamer as well. Let's see here. Yep, there's the flamer. He's gonna shoot the Doombringer and try to crack it open. There we are. Shoot the Doombringer, fire the flamer. Alright. Fires the flamer one more time, but Coriel Zeth has enough attack that she can just destroy both his weapons with one hit. Ready for it? Ooh, nice. The second Desperate Defense came up already. So what I can now do is weaken the Munitions Depot, hit him, and drop my Doombringer to destroy the Munitions Depot and do more damage to him. And Coriel Zeth's existence continues to protect the Doombringer as well. Okay, he plays a troop who creates a weapon. It's let's see, take a look. Oh, he gains sneak attack. Nice. So he goes ahead, hits Coriel Zeth. As she dies, her death rattle destroys the troop, but it was a pathetic troop anyway. Counterattack to try to heal up a little bit there. So he's got loads of plasma, but his health situation's not looking that great. Okay, coming into 10 energy. So now I've got to be a little bit careful because when I attack him with the Doombringer, its health is going to get low enough that a flamer can destroy it easily, and I don't want to lose too much health on my desperate defense troops to a flamer. So I'm playing the Land Raider so that in case it dies or it gets low on health, it can actually just create another Terminator squad to replace it, and then play desperate defense after. There we go, second shot, because he's got so much plasma. Does he have a way of destroying this? Oh no, he doesn't. Oh, he's in trouble now. I can just attack him and destroy that flamer and play a second desperate defense. Oh, look at that, another Somber Truth. So I attack him, his flamer's gone. I play another Somber Truth. Let's save that desperate defense until some of his more harder removals are visible, I guess. Archmega Strakovac, but I don't think that's enough to save him. It's a Mortar Strike, but it hits that guy, which just produces a fresh Terminator squad. Boom. And he knows this is over, and that's it. Alright. So that was a bunch of matches against Knights. Let's take a look at one or two matches against other factions as well. Here's a match I really liked. We're up against Conrad Kurtz. So I don't want to start with Desperate Defense because I need Desperate Defense to come up as an 8-cost card. So I put that away. I keep the rest for now. There's Lernia Hydra. Alright, so he starts with putting Kaizu Lane into play. That's fine. I do my usual move. I pull out Asteroid Belts. Oops. Now I'm ready for my second turn. So he goes ahead and hits me, lowering my attack. So the health gap between us is gone up to 6 points. Okay, standard move. Asteroid Belt, and now next turn I'll have 5 energy. Here we go. Ooh, Jubak Starsight. Right, still a 6 energy gap between us. The next turn begins, and I will pull out, let's take a look, let's pull Irresistible Charisma out of my deck. Play War Room. Now I'm already sitting at 9 cards. My hand is almost full. Can't do anything about that. Oh my god, Ice and Steel. His troops are getting super buff. Is that Jubak gonna hit me now? Yeah, it is. Alright. Still can't destroy that Jubak. That's irritating. 10 points of health gap between us. Let's play Asteroid Belt. And use my ability to pull out War Room. There we are. I play it and I get a guaranteed Desperate Defense. Perfection. Alright. Asteroid Belt. So he's trying to race for his reckoning now. Oh no, he stopped me from playing Desperate Defense with that. That's a great move by him. Okay, so no Desperate Defense this turn because he's increased the cost of tactics. But his guys are starting to get pretty low on health, so what I can play instead of Desperate Defense is Doombringer. Unfortunately, I just lost my second Doombringer, but one will have to do. There we go. Comes into his 8 energy turn, and his hand is full as well. He loses Kaizu Lane at this point. I guess he realized he didn't need to keep making tactics. Does get Oath of Vengeance, which is going to be pretty mean now. Big damage on me. Okay, 9 energy turn, and now I can start pulling it off. There's a Desperate Defense. 1, 2. That's a great set of cards from Desperate Defense. Trying to just clear out room in my hand, so let's now play my counterattack and hit him. So there's a 13-point health difference between us. He plays his own tough little guy, but before I can worry about how to destroy it, the abominable intelligence takes him out. I'm expecting him to turn into Night Haunter now to try and hide from my guys, so let's get a Earthshaker in place to whack him hard. There we go. Turns into Night Haunter, so he gains stealth. He's probably not going to attack. He's not attacking. So the machine just gains its shield, and the Earthshaker blasts him. Lernian Hydra, let's make tactics more expensive for him, because he'll want to start playing some hard removal. Use my ability to pull out my last Desperate Defense, so I'm ready for him. Comes to his turn, now he's got Mercy and Forgiveness, which is now more expensive than before. And he puts... what's that guy? Endos Shrek into play. Now with Oath of... whatchamacallit, he can just destroy those things easily. Oath of Vengeance. Earthshaker Cannon swiftly takes him out. And somehow, and I don't understand why, the Abominable Intelligence attacked even the stealth enemy this time round. So I don't know it did that, but it caused him to quit. Alright, so maybe I got a bit lucky. I don't know why Abominable Intelligence went after a stealth enemy that time, but it did, and I won the match. And the final match I wanted to share with you is against Marius Gage, and this one shows you why I like to have that Irresistible Charisma. So this is a good set of cards to start with. This time I actually had Ashurax. This is a slightly earlier version of the deck. I ended up taking out Ashurax because it didn't synergize that well. I put in an extra Kuban Machinery instead. Anyway, the important thing is I've got War Room and Asteroid Belt, so this is great to begin the match with. Let's go. So I'm still going to pull a card in my first turn, so let's see here. Ooh, wow, Desperate Defense already came up. I'm going to pull out an Asteroid Belt. So he's playing Asteroid Belt as well. Interesting. So it looks like he's trying to race up to big units too. So I'm going to play my Asteroid Belt so I don't fall behind him. There we go. And over back to his turn. What's he going to do? Wow, Mantle of Ultramar. Okay, that's a very slow effect card. It's actually going to work in his favor though, because he'll have a couple of turns still where I'm not playing troops. Let's play Asteroid Belt to boost my energy pool, use my ability, and now I'm pulling out Irresistible Charisma. So that next time War Room will have nothing to pull except either War Room or Desperate Defense. Okay, now this is starting to get interesting. He's buffed that troop already. Again, early on I'm doing nothing but trying to get ready for what's going to come. So there's a Desperate Defense, this is good, and I'm playing War Room as well. Sorry, I pull out War Room as well, so now I'm good. So he's continuing to buff up, and he's got a super troop going on there. Look at that guy. 9 attack. And for some reason he didn't hit me with it yet. I think he knows I'm going to do a Desperate Defense play, and he's getting ready to save that troop. Counter it. And there we go, Desperate Defense. Big stats on these guys, and there we go, yeah. So he uses that troop up to destroy one of my Desperate Defenders. What else is he doing here? He's continuing to buff his guys. I think he's trying to be reactive, but now he's made a huge mistake. Watch this. This is why I love Irresistible Charisma. I steal his high attack, low health unit, and then I throw that at his second most powerful unit, and that's taken out his 2 best troops. Let's continue working over his troops and counterattack and on my Warlord and take out that last guy. So now I've got board control, and I'm still on full health, despite all that. Okay, he goes ahead and he hits my Land Raider, because he's bringing out a Dreadnought. And it wipes that. But there's a Terminator, so this is looking good. And what am I going to do next? Well, options are here, but I'm going to go with Desperate Defense. Throw out some more really tough troops. Attack that Dreadnought to make sure it's nice and soft and can be killed next turn. Mantle of Ultramar buffs up the Dreadnought, but he realizes this is over. That Irresistible Charisma absolutely wrecked him there. Alright guys, so here's that deck one last time. As I said, 6 core tactics, War Room, Asteroid Belt, Desperate Defense have 2 copies of each. One optional tactic, Irresistible Charisma, makes this deck, makes it easier to do kill moves with this deck. And apart from that, fill it up with the most powerful units you have. So far today, since tweaking this deck, I've played 18 matches against real people, and I have won 13 of those. So that's around a 70% win rate. This deck is great against Knights. It suffers a bit more against aggro decks. So your Engrons, your Cabandas, your Erlins even, and your Realms can throw out enough damage to cripple this before Desperate Defense kicks in. But on occasion, you can still beat even those Warlords. Alright, so guys, go check it out. Let me know what you think. Does it work for you? Let me know where you are on the ladder and if it works for you or if it doesn't actually. So, hope you guys found this useful. Oh yeah, final point. As I said, this doesn't necessarily require any of the legendaries. They just make it more powerful. Just substitute your most powerful troop in for any legendary that you're missing, and you should be good. Alright, hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you later on when hopefully I'll be doing another stream. Alright, bye for now, everyone.